أيها الإخوة، فعلا أيها الإخوة، الشعب العربي شعب واحد، والجيش العربي جيش واحد.
فنحن دعاة لإخواننا العرب أن يتصافحوا وأن يتلاقوا بروح أخوية.
لذلك أطلب منكم اليوم أيها الأخوة أن نتجاوز مرحلة التعاون إلى مرحلة الاتحاد.
الأجندة في حوار تلفزيوني، أجندة وأجندة وأجندة، والجزيرة تقود الثورة، أنه في أجندة يعني طبيعي. يعني هل تتوقعون مؤسسة يصرف عليها مئات الملايين من الدولارات تعمل هكذا لسواد عيوننا يعني ولا تعمل من أجل ترفيهنا وإسعادنا وفقط أنه احنا نكون مبسوطين؟ لا.
حابة أعرف إيش نوع التجارة اللي بين قطر وإسرائيل، يعني شنو؟
والله ما أعرف. ساتكوم عندنا اللي هو القيادة العسكرية كانت موجودة في قطر في السيلية إذا تذكرون.
This is flying into Doha. It's got to be an army base of some sort. Of course, that may be where we're headed to. I don't know. Wow, I bet it is. And we're here at Doha, Qatar.
ومهم هنا نسأل شوية عن دور أكاديمية التغيير اللي موجودة على الأراضي القطرية، اللي دلوقتي أصبحت مزرعة لكل الإرهابيين الفارين.
ما يسمى بأكاديمية التغيير تستقطب شباب خليجيين صغار في السن، مراهقين سياسيا، تعطيهم الدروس والأساليب والطرق التي بها يعني يخرجون على الطاعة وعلى ولاة الأمر، كيف يتمردون إلى صح التعبير، وكيف يقلبون الطاولة على أهل البيت.
التصعيد من المفاهيم المهمة في العمل التغييري التي يجب الانتباه إليها. قد يكون التصعيد في المطالب، فبدلا من أن يكون المطلب هو إقالة وزير، يتم تصعيد المطلب إلى الإطاحة برئيس أو الإطاحة بنظام. هذا في حد ذاته تصعيد.
Chief Instructor Serdar Popovich is one of the few canvas members who would show his face publicly in front of the camera. It was here in his office that the Egyptian revolution was planned.
This is why my mission and mission of my little non-profit called Center for Applied Nonviolent Action and Strategies is how to teach the other side.
The key actors in OTPOR went on to create Canvas, as you mentioned, and operate in some 50 countries. They are simply following an agenda given them by people in Washington for regime change. They're using this deniability that they're simply idealistic young people from Serbia who did it successfully and are so happy about it they want to show the rest of the world. That's hardly a plausible explanation in my view. I think they're getting well financed by American intelligence services for doing this.
The OTPOR movement was indeed financed by American tax money during the Serbian Revolution, a fact that only became public knowledge after Milosevic's downfall.
The target countries they target, like Egypt most recently, and so are precisely the countries that are on the Pentagon agenda for destabilization and regime change.
And everywhere around the globe where we are meeting people, and wherever you look on the world map, you will see the people moving, you will see them in Brazil, Zimbabwe, Occupy, Turkey. We try to learn what they're doing, and we try to learn how to empower them.
Was part of a long-term strategy orchestrated by the Pentagon, the State Department, and various U.S. financed NGOs like Freedom House and National Endowment for Democracy to create pro-NATO regime change.
We worked with groups from 26 different countries.
Right from the start, the revolution consultants follow a specific strategy, a strategy developed by the Serbian organization OTPOR. This organization mobilized millions of people to bring about the downfall of Serbian leader Slobodan Milosevic. Their strategy became a blueprint, proving successful once again when used in the revolution in Egypt.
It rather reminds of the bringing to power of Khomeini by Richard Collum and other people in the CIA back in the late 70s to control what was a genuine democratic movement in Iran at the time against the Shah. And now you have the Brotherhood, which is being supported by the State Department and the Obama administration.
We worked with 37 countries after the Serbian Revolution. We had a successful 5 revolutions now before the Middle East. And this is Georgia, Ukraine, Lebanon, Maldives, and now Egypt and Tunisia. And the list will grow longer.
Are you saying there is definitely an American influence behind what's happening we're seeing now, behind the likes of Yemen, Egypt, Tunisia, and the other countries?
Well, sure, yes, indeed. Go back to 2004 when Condoleezza Rice was talking about, quote, the new Middle East, and earlier it was called the Greater Middle East. This was a grand strategy, not just of the Bush administration, but U.S. Pentagon strategy going back almost more than 2 decades or 3 decades to the time of Zbigniew Brzezinski as security advisor to President Carter, when he talked about a Muslim arc of crisis encircling Russia or the Soviet Union in those days.
The part of our work now is focused back to the Middle East, about 8 or 9 different countries. In some of these countries, which I of course wouldn't mention, we have very good groups which we are communicating with. This was not spontaneous 19-day revolution.
We had a trainer from Belgrade, yes, from the city of Belgrade, who came and trained the participants on these strategies, focusing mainly on the Serbian experience.
The people from OTPOR gave us a book in which they described all their strategies, how you have to proceed when you want to overthrow a regime.
Majority of this appears to be orchestrated very finely by the technique that was perfected of nonviolent revolution by Gene Sharp's Albert Einstein Institute in Cambridge.
It was 83-year-old Gene Sharp who wrote the masterpiece, first published in 1993. It contains 198 methods of nonviolent action. His assistant, Jamila Rakip, is responsible for distributing Sharp's work.
This booklet is the Arabic version of From Dictatorship to Democracy, which is one of Gene Sharp's most important and widespread maybe perhaps 2 years ago. An individual had it printed by a publishing house in Beirut.
What Mr. Sharp one time called nonviolence as a method of warfare. And they are going in every place since the end of the Cold War to destabilize regimes which offer resistance to this larger agenda, the globalization agenda, as Washington defines it.
Oh yes, the book by Gene Sharp. We all used it, and it connected us with everybody, with Otpor in Serbia, the opposition movement in Belarus, and Kamara in Georgia. The revolution is a celebration. This is the spirit of Gene Sharp. Every movement becomes a brand with its own symbolism. Oranges in Ukraine, the Rose Revolution in Georgia, the Tulip Revolution in Kyrgyzstan, the Denim Revolution in Belarus. All different symbols, but with the same concept and the same sponsor, the United States of America.
The events in North Africa and the Middle East, from Bahrain, from Yemen and so forth, it goes back actually to 2003, and the time right after the U.S. occupation of Iraq, when George Bush at the G8 summit of 2004, June, announced a greater Middle East project. Washington's goal was to turn the Middle East into a free market paradise like they had turned Poland and the countries of Eastern Europe with shock therapy.
America is pursuing a forward strategy of freedom in the greater Middle East.
To diversify their economies, open their political systems.
We must stand with democratic leaders and moderate reformers across the broader Middle East.
The United Kingdom is ready to work with governments and civil society in the Middle East in support of greater economic development and more open political systems.
From Damascus to Tehran, that freedom can be the future of every nation.
Mr. Cameraman, come close. Hear the symbol from Serbia, and hear the same in Venezuela in 2007. This is called a gentle coup, signature of the revolution makers. It re-emerged in Kamara, Georgia, followed by Oborona in Russia, then in Venezuela and Iran, and most recently it was used by the opposition groups in Egypt.
That Kahana's ideas are true and correct. His constituency is growing. The Arab threat to Israel is increasing, and the moment of truth is approaching rapidly.
That's what Zionism wants? Of course it is not. We want a Jewish state. And the Arabs quite understandably do not want a Jewish state. How many Arabs can get up and happen? And the only Jew that understands the Arab is a Jew who is a proud person. I understand the Arabs. They understand me. That's why they must go.
But this is not the same. This is an organization that is fighting for Jewish survival and telling the truth.
With the symbol of the Kach party. It's a banned political party in Israel. It's been illegal for about 15 years. The Israeli government banned it, claiming it was a racist party.